What's going on, everybody? Bobby here and Eric Sheets. We're going to be talking about the NBA slate tonight. I'm actually not playing the NBA for what it's worth. I'm taking certain nights where there's multiple things. I'm gonna just be playing one sometimes. So, but I am ready for it. I did not have a good day. We were sort of like catching up on yesterday. What happened? I didn't have a good day, but I had some swipes and I was a little tilted about a couple of things. One, I don't deserve to win, I guess, because I had so much exposure to the Minnesota Baltimore game. And like I said, like I was saying to you, if you tell me Baltimore scores 7 times, I wouldn't imagine 5 of them are going to be field goals, and then every 2 guys tackled inside the one who you got everywhere. Just frustrating stuff. But that's not the thing. I really got into the Devontae Adams play more and more. I ended up with a ton of Devontae Adams, and he got hurt. They even hurt going back to Santa Clara and breaking the touchdown record and all the narratives and everything. I really believe that kind of stuff, especially if you're in control of the game in football. They really will look for you. They were trying to get him. He couldn't walk, and they were trying to get him back in the game when they had the ball at the 3-yard line just to get him another score. So I felt good about some of the things. We were great with the calls. You were talking about how the Chargers were going to kill Pittsburgh. I was in on that. I liked Miami over Buffalo. I didn't know they'd beat the hell out of them like they did, but that was fun. Sheets, you had a good day. Talk a little bit about it, and then we'll talk about this later.
I did a little bit doopy, but I got cash for 5 figures in the first showdown of the day, and it's always nice to have the good cushion.
Yeah.
To get going, and then I got I won in the not won. I cashed in the big buy-in with something that just doesn't. I thought it would be pretty game script proof that I had all the Cardinals. And so they. And if they didn't give up, I might have had another possession. When they took smartly actually took out Jacoby Brissett when the game was out of hand. But that was like kind of a weird thing. Like those in the late window, like no game was competitive, and I had like exposure to all these guys, and every team gave up.
Yeah.
There was no garbage time. Like everybody gave up with 4 minutes to go. They took the quarterbacks out.
I was actually surprised that the Cardinals hung in there as long as they did with their guys. I thought. Yes. I mean that game was over. And
Seattle, they're live to do this. And Darnold's still live to do this. They tried to let Arizona back into it a little bit.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because it was like the biggest blowout you've ever seen, and they've done that a few times now recently. Seattle. So we were talking about it's going to be a good game this week with them and the Rams. That you could certainly say that those are the 2 best teams in football, and I don't think anybody could say you're wrong. They've been the best. Very impressive stuff from those guys in the afternoon slate, and to Detroit too for that matter. They looked really good as well.
Well, and here's like something funny. Like I can tell you right now, like without even looking. Like, what if I told you? So you remember the games from yesterday? What if I told you that the Sunday game in Germany this week, you have Washington Commanders against the Miami Dolphins, and Miami is a 2-point favorite.
I know, it's wild. It's crazy. And by the way, it should be. I've watched for whatever reason. This feels like the Dolphins. I mean, yesterday was a regular scheduled game or whatever, but they've had a lot of like Thursday games and Monday games and stuff. So I've started watching them a lot, but they've looked like they've gotten a lot better. Like, I mean, even before this game, that's sort of why I liked them over the Bills yesterday. So maybe they turn it around a little bit. Maybe that coach doesn't get fired this season, which would be.
Well, that's like so funny. I thought that you were going to totally something different.
What's that?
I thought you were going to say, it should be like 7. What the hell is it doing at 2.5?
Well, I would think that, but I don't trust anything with those foreign games. Okay. I just feel like they're just a little bit of a crapshoot.
One thing I'm telling you about and we said this all the way going back to that Cleveland game. This whole Dolphins thing with Tua is just a different animal when they have good weather.
Yeah. But by the way, it was still raining like crazy. It just was warm.
Well, that game was over at that point. I think.
Yeah. That's true.
And I'll tell you, who's also very, very live to have some screw ups is Josh Allen.
Absolutely, and absolutely.
He had some crazy plays too in that game too.
Yeah,
like he's still obviously he's Josh Allen. He's one of the best, whatever. Mm-hmm. So he's still very live to like do some crazy, amazing things. But then like that weird like just interception or fumble near the end zone or something that was kind of messed up.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
After the 30-yard gain on the ground, he gets fumbled the ball like just
exactly.
It was weird. But look, football's wild right now. I feel really happy to be a Rams fan. It's a good time to be an LA sports fan at the moment.
Yes.
The Dodgers, the Rams, and the Lakers off to a good start, even with a bad loss the other night. But all right, Sheets, we got this slate, and we got my Lakers actually on this slate. And look, I don't know what the number is supposed to be for Luka. That's the first thing that stood out to me.
What are they making 49 again or something like that?
Goldie's got him at 60, and Saber Sim's got him at 62.
I just did. Well, what do I have? I just uploaded, I think.
I didn't see yours yet, so maybe it's just probably going to come through in a few minutes, I would guess. I'm going to say it's like 10, 15
definitely
minutes.
Uploaded them. Okay.
But yeah, it should be. Oh, wait, there it is. You've got him at 61.1, so you've got him a little bit higher than Goldie does. I just, again, it's not like a huge point of contention because I think people are going to play him some anyway. If you can get to him, there is like not a ton of crazy value, but there's some decent value. But yeah, I think that's for me. What assuming I was playing tonight, if I was playing one lineup, I think I would probably try to get Luka in there, which forces you to play the Ron Holland, and hope for some more value to open up, I guess would be the best way to put it.
I know your answers. I'm not sure. Who knows? Whatever it is the NBA. But is there? Because I haven't really looked except for doing the projections right now. Is there any like notable questionables that people are thinking about?
Yeah, there's a ton. Giddey, Karis LeVert, Anthony Davis, Asar Thompson.
Those are early, like Asar Thompson and Giddey, right?
Those are. I mean, the Asar Thompson that game is the first one, and Giddey's Giddey's not till 8 Eastern.
Okay, so again, this is nothing's relevant yet until that gets resolved. Okay,
right, and sadly, like with that situation, we never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? We really don't know if we're going to. We get what the NBA has done more of because they're forced to report earlier is they'll report, okay, this guy is officially a game time decision.
Right.
Great, nothing we can do with that.
But you hit on the guy who is showing up at least right now is the point per dollar plays is the Ronald Holland. And I guess, like you said, like if you want to get to Luka, that's a very nice way to get there. But I'll tell you, he's continuing to put up games, and he's continuing to, he's listen. His salary's fair, but it's not like too cheap or too expensive. But this Jalen Duren's continuing to put up numbers.
He's tremendous, and that guy's he's gonna be great for a long time. The thing is, I think he's third in the league or fourth in the league now with in terms of on off, for defense. But
okay.
To be that strong at 21 is just like I don't remember seeing it like other than Shaq.
That's all he is 21.
He's 21. Yeah, wow. They're young. They got. Asar's 20. Cade's only 24. You know what I mean? Cade's an old man at 24 or whatever, 25. I guess he is now.
Cade's like a veteran. Yeah, that's right.
I actually think the East is so bad. That's a bet I might get some money down on. Is maybe Detroit to come out of the East. I was looking at the potential All-Star lineups for the West and for the East this year. And it is hilarious the difference between the two of them.
Who's the best team right now? OKC.
OKC is like I don't think anybody's even can really argue it. I think
what's their record without even I don't even know.
I mean, without having any of their players, they're like 9-1.
Oh, really?
Or with guys out. Let me see real quick. Actually, I didn't see. Maybe they lost. They may have lost a game. No, 10-1. They're 10-1. They do have 2 double overtime wins, but still they're 10-1. It's pretty wild. But
who are they missing?
The Jalen Williams, who was second team All NBA last year.
Okay.
And they missed they had to play a couple games without Chet. They had games without Caruso. They had games with a bunch of these guys. And AJ Mitchell has been they only had 9 bodies one night, and these guys are just all so good and they're just so deep. They've got guys playing in Europe who they have to stash over there because they just don't have room for them, and they're really good. And they're gonna have 2 first-round picks again this year.
So I could use a little bit of a sweat in the NBA. Actually, I haven't really done anything in the NBA since DFS started this season. These guys that are showing up in these as like top exposed guys. I mean, should I be like not playing guys like Anthony Black and Jeremy Fears and stuff like that? Aren't these some guys we're supposed to just not play? I have no idea.
No, we're supposed to play Anthony Black. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, okay.
And then look, you don't have he's a really good. I like him as a real life basketball player, but. He's not like a guy who's always going to necessarily show it in the box scores, but when you have him in the situation with no subs, you're going to get some duds. But I think without the other value, okay, let me put it this way: I think it does make sense to play him. I think there's a lot of things that could happen where maybe you wouldn't, the value for him wouldn't be nearly as good. Like for example, if Giddey's out, then you've got Dosunmu would be a better play than him, and Dosunmu's cheaper. Then you've got Trey Jones would be a great play. So I don't know that it's it's not like a must play or anything. But one thing I really would like to try to avoid is the early value if I can. It's going to be really hard in Detroit's case. So maybe adding the fact that Anthony Black is also in the first set of games maybe you do want to make some things because like I said, we got, like we went through, there's a lot of questionables that could really affect things.
The reason I mentioned Anthony Black is he always gave the impression to me as somebody who's going to get minutes but never do anything.
Yeah, but the problem we think with these guys, that was when he was 19 years old.
Okay.
He's still a baby. Like these kids come out so young, and he's gotten more productive. But again, I'm not going to say like he can't play 30 minutes and put up like 20. That does happen with him sometimes. He's not like the focal point of the offense with these guys.
And what kind of player is Jeremy Fears?
Jeremiah Fears, good. I love him a lot, but I believe in him for the future. But I don't know that, like, I think you're going to see a range of outcomes with him too. I feel better with him because at least his usage is always high this year, and in this spot with all the bodies they're missing from New Orleans, I would rather do that, especially because that game starts later as well.
Right.
So that would be a boost to Fears. Like that's one thing you could manually do is like a guy like Fears. They're a similar price range. Maybe you bump Fears up an extra point. Maybe you take Anthony Black down an extra point because of it. If you're MMEing, because that would be. I like Fears a little better anyway, and you get the value of getting the late news, the Giddy news, and whatever else comes up.
So you had mentioned Anthony Davis is questionable. He has been out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This might be his first game back.
Yeah. So there's not necessarily like totally actionable, and I mean the truth is, I'm assuming he plays. Like I would be surprised if he doesn't, because this game they're 2.5 point underdogs. Any game that they're not 10-point underdogs is shocking. They are so bad. They're like they might be the worst team in the NBA.
Dallas?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're getting punished. Look, this is what happens. You can't trade a generational superstar in his mid-20s at 26 years old and get away with it, and then have the NBA. What many people believe is a conspiracy theory, whether I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but to get as lucky as they got with Flag, I just think that it's look, the guy's got to get fired. You got a terrible GM. It's a very strange team, and got a lot of good parts, but the fact that you got Cooper Flag playing point guard most of the season is just bizarre. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not one to talk about the fixed NBA drafts. So.
No, I'm not saying it's really you mean because the Knicks, or you mean because
because of the Knicks.
Yeah.
That was the problem, is that I used my one time for the Knicks just for that one draft, and and they just can't seem to do anything. Ever since. I mean, you have John Starks 1 for 18 in Game 6 against the Rockets. Not to mention kind of a miserable performance against San Antonio, and all the other stuff. And then they run into the Bulls every year. Yeah, and then
Yeah, no, and I mean, but hey, look, in all fairness, this is about as good as it's been for them.
Yeah.
They're competitive now, and the weirdest thing about the whole Ewing thing was the year he goes out. Of course, is the year they go to the finals.
Yeah,
and then they lost to that San Antonio team. But yeah, so that would be my way of trying to, like, I'm looking at the guys who are going to be the most. I like Luka as a spend up. I don't think it's anything shocking. No. I think Giannis is also a tremendous play. Like, I prefer Luka over Giannis, but they're close. I think you could almost flip a coin between the two of them. It's going to make nobody in the world play Wemby in a matchup that could be really good for him. That's something that you could do to be way off the board. But I like Luka. My spend up favorites would be Luka, Giannis, followed by Cade, and then probably Wemby. But I don't think I would end up getting to too much Wemby, even though we all know how much I have a love for him. And he's had a couple of downer games. A little bit. I'm
kind of a weird top-owned guy on FanDuel, actually.
Throw it at me.
My top-owned, well, I mean, there's Holland, but I mean, like the top-owned, like regular guy. Mm-hmm. I have 30% James Harden.
Yeah, so he's so that they don't have Harden on the other slate. So
I see. Okay.
But I don't think that's surprising. I mean, Harden is like, and I always feel comfortable like. I feel like Harden's become like the FanDuel play because they always play late. I feel like
I guess so, right?
But yeah, with no Kawhi, it's kind of hard to ignore Harden. At the same time, it's not like he's been the best version of him this season. I don't even know what's up with that team really. But yeah, I think that playing Harden against the Hawks here makes a lot of sense. Although the Hawks I'm telling you, I watched this team play and they look so much better without Trae Young. I think he really hurts.
You've been saying that for years, though,
and it's been right. I mean, what happened? He got hurt in the conference finals when they won 2 games against the Bucks with him hurt. You know, but now they've got Dyson Daniels and Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and their best player is Jalen Johnson. It's not Trae Young. You know what I mean? And look, you have a guy who literally is one of the worst in history on defense, and without him, they're like a decent defensive team. So that it makes a big difference. And I don't want to rip on Trae Young. I didn't come here just to do that, but I do think that I do think that they should find their way to move on. And the trade that I like the most, the idea of, is somehow a 3-way deal that would end up sending Ja Morant to Atlanta. Trae gets to go to Memphis and start over there, and then everybody should be happy. I think. I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm going to try and meet up with Cruz sometime. He's going to be joining us for our next show, but he's a few hours away from me in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to meet up and try and go to like
cool.
a Mavs game or something one of these days.
That's cool.
Mavs or Stars or something. Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, he was going to come out to California, and then he's like, wait a minute, but you're coming out to Texas. I was like, yeah, let's meet up in Texas. Especially because I don't know anybody out here.
Let me see if I can find any. I guess there's nothing yet. I just want to see if there's any info on any of this stuff, like Thompson or anything like that. No, it doesn't look like anything yet.
How's everybody else feeling out there about Denny Avdia becoming one of the best players in the planet? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love it. He was one of my heroes.
I feel like he was always on your team that did well.
Yeah, he was one of my big heroes. And then I don't even remember this last year. I won one of the big ones with him. And then what's his name? Freaking Jesse, from online, freaking messaged the NBA claiming that Avdia was credited a steal when he didn't deserve one.
Right.
And with like video evidence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And between you and me, he happened to be 100% right.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But by the way, he was the other guy I was going to mention as a spend up today too.
Jesse? Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, I think he was writing. I think the first thing I saw on Twitter today was he was writing letters again to the NBA.
Oh, nice.
Something else happened yesterday that he didn't.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, and I guess my other thing that I would say is, like, you don't need to force anything in, but I think that you could take, like, if you're not going to do the spend up all the way build, I really like some of these guys in the mid tier that are getting no love, like Paolo Banchero. He would be probably my favorite get different play. I think that Donovan Mitchell is like an awesome tournament play. I think those two guys, I mean, you feel like, I love the guys where you feel pretty good about it, because you know you're going to get, you can get the 60. You're probably not getting hurt too bad by them ever, and they're going to be like 4 or 5% owned. So
yeah, right.
That would be my takes. Yeah, like if you're not going to go Giannis or Luka, you try to get 2 of those guys in. They would be my favorite as far as getting different. Julius Randle as a logical one makes sense. Austin Reeves as a logical play makes sense. Yeah, but those guys are just going to get completely lost on the slate, I think.
Well, I'll tell you, I remember one of the first things, I asked you when I first learned DFS it was like so funny. Obviously, the answer is always like, it depends, but I always said, so what's typically better, like an 11K with a 4K or 2 7,500s, right? In the NBA? And I'm like, well, if you knew the answer to that, you win millions.
Absolutely.
Because the 7,500s, all those, I remember like all those Devin Bookers and Jimmy Butlers and all those shooting guards and Zach LaVines and all these guys. Like, do you play 2 of those? And I always love to play the 2 of those like in the same game, as opposed to playing the 11K with the 4K or something. But obviously it depends on the slate and stuff like that. But those that's really the question of DFS, right? I mean, like when do you want to try to eat a little bit with a cheapo to get to the big guy, or maybe you get enough upside of the 2 mid-range guys.
Yep. And by the way, there is one. It's just the pricing's like not caught up yet. De'Aaron Fox should never be 6,900.
It was so funny. I was going to ask you that as I was just scrolling through the salaries. Did you know that? I was going to say, did you know that De'Aaron Fox is like 6,900 now?
Yeah, I know. And the fact that he played, because he's only played 1 game since he's come back, but he played 31 minutes in that game. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't treat him like he's ready to go.
Hey, you know who else has been? When you look at his price, you say, "Oh, it looks kind of expensive for what he used to be, or whatever." But he's had a very, very good role this year. Is Drew Holiday?
He's awesome, and that team's
Yeah.
good. As I said to everybody, I mean, they pulled off the miracle of all miracles. They traded Dame.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you know that, but Dame's back on their team. He's just hurt.
Yeah, and he got him back and other players.
And all the players. And they got Drew Holiday, too. They got everybody in the offseason. It's pretty wild. So, yeah, and I agree with you. I think that Holiday is, like, totally reasonable. I don't think I wouldn't go out of my way to get to him or anything, but I think he's totally reasonable.
But it's funny. It goes back to, like, the conversation we had a couple of days ago. You know, it's like it's you put some of these guys in one role, they're going to look totally different. You
Absolutely.
know, and all these guys, I mean, with some rare exceptions, all these dudes in the NBA are like amazing basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they can do everything. To say, oh, this guy can't do this guy can't drive, this guy can't whatever. You give any of these freaking studs that came out of college, whatever, and you give them the ball, like, you know what I mean, like enough times, they got some talent, man. They'll do shit.
Absolutely. That's why even when people say, "Oh, this person's out," that means we're dead and all this. I'm like, and how many times do we see that where like a team decides to sit like all of its guys, and that team's like a 20-point underdog all of a sudden, and then they blow the other team out.
Like, who are those Dallas guys that we would play like that?
Oh my God, we had so many of them at some point.
That shooting guard, like whenever he would play, he would like
Jaden Hardy.
Yes, exactly. Yes, Hardy.
And it's like all of a sudden the guy looks like he's like the best. Like
who is this guy? Like, just the guy that's not starting. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens if you put Kuminga in a situation where he's playing every game?
Right. Exactly. He's a great example actually, because there's going to be some times where those Warriors are going to have to sit some of their older guys, and he's going to like be the best player on a lot of slates this year. I really don't know what's up with the Clippers. That's the one team that I still feel stunned by this season.
They're like 100. I mean, like.
I know, but I thought that there was enough infrastructure. I also think that there's a lot of speculation about the gambling. He was playing poker in the poker room when I was there, the coach. But I can't, I don't know if he's tied to the games, but Chauncey Billups being your best friend in the rigged poker games is not a great thing.
Dude, meanwhile, you're not kidding. These freaking Pistons never lose. They've like won 6 in a row.
They're good, and they were good last year. I mean, they gave your Knicks a hard time in the playoffs.
Yeah, they sure did.
And they're just like total babies. They're so young. And anybody who's ever watched, like, you think you know what Cade Cunningham is, you think, oh yeah, okay. People probably picture him like 6'4", 6'5". He's like a legit 6'8", 6'9", and he's a monster of a human being. He's a big guy, and that's a point guard. I mean, it's I don't know. I really like their team. I think they got a great chance to win the East, which is, I can't believe I'm saying out loud, but.
So we're waiting on Oscar Thompson. Yeah. And also, and later Giddey, obviously.
Yeah, and the Oscar Thompson is kind of like the massive slate changer other than Giddey, because you're already missing Tobias Harris. They've inserted Holland into the starting lineup, and I think he'll he's one of those guys though. Usually when he's questionable, he ends up going. But it's hard to know. It's still very early in his career, obviously. I really like this Donovan Mitchell play. Look, he's 90. All he does is put up 50 to 70. Like, he'll have a couple of really bad shooting games every once in a while, and just because Garland's back, I don't think we should stop playing. I mean, Garland being back, by the way, his highest usage of the season was with Garland in the game. Like, I believe, unless I'm looking at the wrong game. No, he was. Garland played that night. I don't know. All right, so should we? Because we're gonna do football on the other thing, and we got Brandon.
We're using a different.
Yeah, we got a different one set up because it's better for the viewing, I guess.
Okay, so while we will log off of here and we'll come back.